Hello, my name is Allie Jones, and I am a marketing consultant and advisor with the North Coast SBDC. Today, we're going to delve into kind of the very first foundational step of starting a business, which is really coming at it with the right mindset. We're going to delve into some of the statistics of why businesses fail and some of the studied characteristics and mindsets of successful entrepreneurs so that you can kind of ground yourself in where you are right now, in which skill sets you need to foster so that your business will succeed. While we're going through this, I do have a worksheet for you to kind of capture some of your thoughts and ideas. A lot of us are coming to the table today with lots of ideas in our heads swirling around. And so my intention for today's workshop is for you to put some of those ideas on paper. You may not know the answers to all the questions, and that is okay, but knowing where you are now helps you decide where you need to head next. So let me show you what the worksheet looks like. And then if you have a chance to download it, that is great. If not, if you don't have access to a printer, no worries. We're going to go through each of these sections in my presentation. So you'll be able to jot these down on a note on your phone or in a notebook, something like that. So go ahead and pause the video, find either a printer so you can get this all ready to go, or find another way to capture your thoughts and ideas. All right, so a lot of us are coming to the table with the idea of starting a business from different perspectives and different places. But we really need to make sure that the number one thing that will determine our success really is our mindset. There are certainly a lot of other factors, and there's a lot of skill sets and practical knowledge to understand to operate a business successfully. And if you did not know this already, SBDC has a myriad of resources and workshops and one-on-one coaching so that you can understand those practical skills and steps that you need to take to run your business. Today, I'm really starting at square one, which is to kind of understand the framework and the mindset you need in order to be successful as an entrepreneur. So we're going to talk about what is the context in which you're starting this business. We're going to really kind of delve into where curiosity comes into play, give you some guiding questions that give you some clarity around your business idea. Talk about how to be consistent as an entrepreneur. And then we'll end with talking about who and how you can collaborate with partners to really set yourself up for success. So I'm curious where you are coming from, because we all start our business from a different perspective, from a different place. For some of us, we see something happening in an industry that we are an expert in, and we know it could be done better. We can see how a problem can get solved quicker, more easily, for a better price, with a better service. And so be the change you want to be in the world. That's how your business is born, is coming from this place of, I know this could be done better. Others of us see that there is an unmet need, possibly in our local area. No one has a pet grooming service that really offers it in the specific way you do, or you see the need for a specific type of restaurant in your area, and you have that skill set, so you start the business so that you can provide that product or service to your audience. Other times, and this might be relatable, especially in the context of the past 2 years, the pandemic, when you lose a job or a job is no longer a good fit for you working for another boss, you want to go out on your own so that you can have job security, and you're dependent only on you to make that money happen, to have that revenue. So a lot of times jobs and entrepreneurs start out because they have a specific skill set, they need a job, they can either start job hunting or start looking for clients and customers. Other times it's just personal circumstances. I started my business as a freelance writer because I needed to be able to make money while traveling and remote work. I could write from anywhere. And so that's kind of how my business was born. I sort of stumbled into it from personal circumstances, but it grew from there. And I truly love the way it happened, even though I never would have seen myself as an entrepreneur. There are a lot of different ways to be successful and lots of different reasons, but it is helpful to kind of just be honest with yourself from the outset. Why do I want to start this business? What am I hoping will come out of this on the other side? Now I want to kind of talk about what might be an elephant in the room, and just a hard reality for what it looks like to actually start a business. This isn't for the faint of heart. And I'm sure you may have seen statistics similar to this before, that your chances of survival as a new business aren't necessarily in your favor. But after we talk about this doom and gloom, I promise we'll give you some skill sets and mindsets that are going to help you offset these odds. So, according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, they follow and track businesses year over year, and about 20% of new businesses are not going to make it past that 2-year mark. So you have a 1 in 5 chance that your business isn't going to be successful past the first really initial phase. However, those statistics are still pretty good, but when we track businesses past their opening date, 5 years later, 45% of businesses have closed their doors or discontinued their products or services. So if we follow that even further, 65% of businesses don't last longer than a decade. Now, this might be, because that entrepreneur started another business, or they solved that problem and now they're moving on to another phase of life. However, if we go past that, if you're really looking for something with longevity, only 25% of businesses are still in existence 15 years later. So those odds are kind of daunting, but we're going to really talk about, so like what is it that leads these businesses to close? What are the most common reasons that businesses fail? I have the 6 on the next slide, but I'm curious which ones you think they are, even if you want to pause and contemplate that for a second. All right, so these are the top 6 reasons that businesses close their doors, fail, aren't able to get past that 15-year mark. So the first thing, and this kind of is going to lead into the specific skill sets that we'll really delve into after this, but not understanding or investigating the market. You might think that individualized outfits for dogs are a great idea, but maybe the market's already flooded with that, or there isn't enough demand. Perhaps your cost to make the specific product that you have in mind doesn't match what people are willing to pay for it. If we're going in just because we have a whim of an idea that we love, but we haven't investigated it to really see if it's a feasible, profitable idea, it's not going to be set up for success. The second one is poor business planning, not really having all your ducks in a row, or your financial projections and budget in order. Without a clear marketing plan, all of those components to a business plan, it may feel like busy work when you're at the beginning, but that really becomes the roadmap and foundation for you to turn to when you're not sure what right next step to take. So luckily, you have the resource of the SBDC to help you with that. And our business advisors love getting to help people really flesh out their business plans. The third idea, and this is, just a hard reality, is that businesses fail when they don't have the right financing. if they aren't able to get to a place of profitability quickly, or they're not able to secure a loan, this can be a deal breaker for some businesses. It lasts for a little while, but then when the money runs out and it hasn't turned a profit yet, they have to close their doors. Going to the second line, so sometimes they have a great idea, they've got a great plan in place, they have everything that they need, and yet people don't know about them. They have a problem to solve, but no one knows that they're there. That could be just literally the location that they're in, either geographically or within, you know, where they're located within a place that there's not good signage. It can be as simple as that, but also broader, especially in today's world. If they don't have, if they're not visible online, if they don't have a really user-friendly website or social media presence that's resonating with their audience, they can have the best idea, the best product, the best service in the world, but they're not going to succeed without quality marketing and brand awareness. This is another thing that I think we've really learned during the course of the pandemic, is that business owners who are stuck in their ways or rigid are not going to succeed. Our world is ever shifting and changing, and that change is coming at us more quickly than ever. So entrepreneurs who aren't able to be adaptable and flexible, or consider new ways to approach their product or service, are not going to survive. And then this is the other one that I think a lot of people don't think about, but it is absolutely true. Sometimes it's a matter of growing too fast. You have a great product, you market it well, you get inundated with orders, and then you can't keep up. Oftentimes there's a second wave of growth that needs to happen in order to succeed in a longevity sort of way. You can get past that first stage of growth by being scrappy and figuring things out, but in order to scale, you have to start putting systems in place. You need to make sure that the growth is scalable, your operations are manageable, and you need to grow the right team in order to make that expansion happen smoothly and successfully. So yeah, as you're looking through this, you might understand or have like a nudge of where you might most likely come up short, or which challenges your business might face. But having these things in mind from the get-go helps you be able to be proactive rather than reactive. So let's delve into the different components of a business readiness mindset. And I want to kind of cast it off with this quote from Winston Churchill. "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." So when it comes to a business mindset, I think this is the most important component that I can offer to you, is just to understand that nothing is static. Your growth and your processing of how your business will unfold is something that you need to continue coming to every day with courage. You might have early success, but you can't rest on that. You will make mistakes, but that failure is not fatal. The best entrepreneurs are those that are continually showing up, continually staying curious towards how they can improve, and continuing to grow and adapt and change. So we're on the first page of our worksheet. You'll see the number one area of how to have a good mindset with starting a business is to really understand the context in which your business would be launching. And there's a couple different categories that I would want you to consider about what may impact your business and your business's success. So kind of rippling outwards, we'll start with you. Your business is going to be highly impacted by what you can show up with. So considering your personality, what are your strengths that you would bring to this business? And then also really having the self-awareness to understand where you might have some blind spots or weaknesses, This is not a death sentence, but this is a place where you know you need to be proactive to get some extra support. Just as that number one business failure factor indicated, when we're not clear about what's happening in the marketplace regarding our products or services, we can't know how to show up or differentiate ourselves. So we need to understand what's happening in the industry, what's happening with similar types of businesses, how they're operating, and how we can both show up with those best practices, but also set ourselves apart. Finally, we really need to understand the context that our customers are coming from. Successful businesses are always customer-centered. They understand their customers' needs. They understand what their customers are expecting so that they can find specific ways to go above and beyond, get those positive reviews, increase their word of mouth, and grow their business. So let's write some of these things out and not just sort of consider them as concepts, but really understand what this looks like for us. So in your worksheet, you want to write down, again, this is kind of this concentric circles, your industry, and then your community, your potential customer base. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Let's start there. So consider your personality. If you are not a super self-aware person, if this is not something you've delved into, I highly encourage doing some personality tests. Strengths Finder is a great one. The Enneagram is my jam. It's a great one just to understand both what cards are in your deck. What are the ways that you naturally would be approaching starting a business? There's not one right way to be an entrepreneur, and different skill sets, different personality types bring different strengths to the table. Another thing to consider from an area of strengths or weakness is to really be honest about your time and your bandwidth that you have to give. So starting a business from scratch takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of emotional energy. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money. It doesn't need to, but it can, depending on how quickly you want to grow, how quickly should be profitable for you, what type of team you're trying to build. You need to really understand the realistic perspective of what that's going to take, and then compare that against what you have to give. What are the strengths and weaknesses that come with your experience? Do you have training in this specific job? You don't need that, but you need to kind of understand the context. What are you coming to the table with? Then also kind of understanding from the financial side, really just kind of taking a look. And if you don't know, talking to someone who could help you understand, what is the likelihood you'd be able to get a loan? Do you have some capital to start in order to get this off and running? Second category, let's look at what's happening in the industry right now. Really understanding the trends that are happening within your niche, your industry. Are there holes or issues with how things are done right now that you could come with a fresh new perspective? What is the sustainability of this business? Is this something that's really hot right now, but not going to be popular 5 years from now? Does that matter to you? What is the likelihood of, is this something that's going to be sort of steady, or is it seasonal? Just really kind of naming the context of what this business would look like from an industry perspective. You might also really just get curious about your competition or other people who are really excelling in this area of business, and trying to understand and learn from them. Finally, it's really important to understand the context that your customers are coming to the table with. Who is your target market? What are their needs and their expectations? How aware would they be of your business? Perhaps you already have been doing this product or service kind of as a hobby, and you're coming to this webinar today wondering if this could be a business. So a really great thing to do is just to ask your friends, family, people that you've done this for free for, whatever that might be. Do you think that this is something that you'd be interested in? How much would you be willing to pay for this or this service, this product? Really understanding the context of where people are at. You might think that your idea is phenomenal, but understand maybe as you're exploring your customer, there's not enough of a customer base, or maybe your customers do want that, but you need to say it in a different way. So really taking this time, this is an ongoing process that is never really a start and stop, but more so just a mindset to really kind of be able to scale back and see the bigger picture so that you know how to make decisions and strategies for your business that are going to align with the context that you're already in. All right, so let's take it a little bit further. This is just a suggestion of homework beyond our workshop today to consider who you might interview who's currently running a successful business. Could be similar to what you're wanting to start, or could be kind of an adjacent industry. Talking to people who are in the trenches doing what you want to do is such a powerful exercise. Not only will this help you understand your context better, but it may also start to lead to some networking and some possible ways for your business to be able to get off the ground. So consider, even write down some names. Who might be willing to talk to you? Who might be willing to let you buy them a cup of coffee so you can ask them their insights on running a business. Now we're going to head into our second component. I'm all about alliteration, so we're into our second C of curiosity. A lot of kind of everyday wisdom, or what we think about when we think about entrepreneurs, is that they're passionate. And passion certainly plays a role in having a successful business and creating a community around the problem that you're solving. However, passion fades, but curiosity, cultivating that as a mindset, is going to take you farther than passion alone. So right from the get-go, we've already kind of tapped into this a little bit just with understanding the context, but it's so powerful and important to have a mindset of curiosity towards your business, towards yourself, and towards your customers. So you want to really hone in on and get familiar with how to ask questions, but then also seek new solutions. So we want to be curious not only about our customers, best practices within our industry, how to operate a business. The fact that you're watching this webinar right now shows me that you're a curious person, shows me that you want to find ways to be the best you can be. And that's a really good place to start from. So on the other end of curiosity, it can't just stop at the questions, right? As entrepreneurs, we have to be able to be decisive and take steps forward. The process that has really helped me do this is a process called design thinking. I'm going to merely scratch the surface of this concept, but there are wonderful resources that can help you really understand the process of design thinking. It's almost like the scientific process where there are steps that we follow in order to get from a problem to a solution. This is something that designers, developers, artists, makers use this process in order to be able to come up with a new idea. And as an entrepreneur, that's absolutely the process you are working through as well. So I'm going to give you a really broad overview. I also like to call this concept wayfinding. You have an idea, you have a question, your curiosity has led you to a dilemma. Wayfinding is figuring out the very next step that helps you know where to go. You don't know how the success of your business will play out. None of us predicted COVID. A lot of us didn't know how we still don't know how social media or the internet is shaping our world and how we interact with businesses. So we're always having to wayfind or come up with small experiments that help us be able to know what the next right step is for our business at this time. So the main process of design thinking is to really get curious and empathize with our customers' challenges and their issues, and really define what it is that they need. Getting really clear on the problem we're trying to solve for our customers is the first step. From there, we're really wayfinding, and that process looks like coming up with ideas, brainstorming, having our eyes open to what other people in the industry might be doing, seeing something that from a TED Talk or a podcast or an SBDC webinar, and letting that spark an idea. But the real magic happens right here in this step where we're prototyping. The thing about being a business owner is you never will know all of the right answers, and you will likely have a lot more questions than answers. However, 9 times out of 10, you will know the very right next step for you. Today, that next right step was to watch this webinar. So you don't have to have all the answers, but if you can sort of root that in understanding the customer's problem or what you're trying to solve, and then from there coming up with a prototype, a small experiment to help you. And a prototype can look a million different ways. It can be calling someone to ask a question. It can be researching to find out more. It can be putting up a poll on your Instagram story and saying, which of these do you like better, A or B? Millions of different ways. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to take months. It doesn't have to be fancy, but coming up with an experiment to help you try to answer that question, and then test it and figure out what works, what doesn't, how did that land with our customer base, so that we can then implement. But as you see with these arrows, it's an ongoing iterative process that always leads back to empathy, always leads back to coming back to understanding the needs of our customers. So make sure that is a way that you are coming at your business. Again, this is a mindset. It's a practice. It's a way of being as an entrepreneur. So on our worksheet, we've got some spots to think about. So what questions have been popping up in your mind or keeping you up at night, or even come up in the past 30 minutes of this workshop? What are the questions you have? And then if you have any ideas of what is your gut saying is the next right step, it might feel scary, it might feel really small, but what would that next right step be? Again, you might have questions about how to run a business, just the operational side of things. You might have questions about the feasibility or profitability of your business, questions about your customers and what they would be interested in, or how much they'd be willing to pay for a specific service or product. So then, I don't need to even give you any examples, but I'm encouraging you to just write down what your next right step may be. You probably have more than 3 questions. That's all that fit on my worksheet. But start with 3. Pause the video right now, write down some questions you have, and then think about what is a tangible, observable behavior or action that you could take that would help you sort of either prototype or ideate or brainstorm a solution that might help you get closer to answering that question. All right, let's move on to the third one. So now that we've kind of come into the context of our business and we've sort of curated some questions around our business, we really are ready to have some clarity around the business itself. If you are coming to the table today with a clear business idea, awesome. If not, that's okay too. These questions might be ongoing for you that you want to hone in on before you're really ready to launch your business. So you have a specific skill set, you have an idea for a product. That's awesome. That's sort of the the what, but we also need to understand why that product or service exists. So I, for example, am a marketing consultant. The product, the service that I provide is a website, content, copy, a newsletter, a marketing strategy, which is great. That is the tangible thing someone needs. But this is actually getting at the root of it, is this question right here. What is the problem that your business solves? So this is both super simple, you don't have to overthink it, but it also gets at the deeper meaning, because um, people are looking for solutions to problems that they have. Anything that someone Googles, any keywords or a reason someone follows a business is because they're wondering if that business can help make their life easier or help them survive and thrive. So what is it that I do as a marketer? I help people put what they love into words. Storytelling is so powerful, but for so many business owners, it's really hard to articulate what they do. So I provide that fresh outside perspective as a wordsmith to be able to wrap words around what they're passionate about so that they can connect with their ideal customers. So the problem I'm solving is tongue-tiedness. I'm not even say that in my marketing or as I talk about my business, but it's helpful for me to come at that, to understand, like, I'm helping people have the words they need in order to convey a really important idea. And this is, so 1 and 2 are kind of a two-part question. So if this is the problem that you're solving, I provide pet daycare. Why does that matter? I'm a plumber. Why does that matter? I'm a realtor. Why is the problem you're solving important to your customers or to the greater community that you live in? So when people have well articulated content for their business, it helps them connect with their ideal customer. It helps them flourish. It helps their business thrive. Without that well articulated message, their business will fail, right? We saw that earlier. So this may be a really deeply personal question that you answer just for yourself. Eventually, you're going to need to be able to articulate this on your website, in your social media, when someone asks you what you do. Question number 3, so we're kind of getting to those main who, what, when, where, why, but it is important from a mindset perspective right out of the gate to be very customer centered. And many business owners start out thinking, well, my product's for everyone. My service is for anyone, everyone. And while that inclusivity mindset is good, please know that your product or service is never for everyone. You won't be right for everyone. So the more you can hone in on your target market, both from a demographic standpoint, what is their age range? What kind of income do they have so that they can afford this product or service? Where do they live? But then also kind of their desires, their way of seeing the world, or psychographics. Again, I just want to let you know, you don't have to have all the answers to this, but having the mindset of thinking, who is this for? Is this, if it's not for someone else, then it's a hobby. When you can come up with solving a problem for someone else that matters and making it profitable, you have a business. And finally, again, it's okay if you don't have clear answers right now in this moment, but you want to get clear in order to have a successful business with really understanding what it is that sets you apart. This can be both your personal brand, the core values that shape how you approach your specific work, but it can also be innovative ways of approaching it or creative differentiations. We offer this really boutique experience. We're the only one in this location, whatever that might be. So again, I want you to pause the video right now and give yourself just set a 5-minute timer and brainstorm. Let it be messy on this worksheet. No one else needs to see this, but it's helpful for you to be able to put into words what it is you're really trying to do. And you might surprise yourself with some clarity. I'm doing a recording workshop. All right, so now we're ready to do the take it further step. So we brainstormed some of these, and you didn't know that you were kind of creating the different components for a purpose statement or kind of a visionary statement for your business. One well-articulated sentence about what you do and why is the most powerful component to your marketing. So we're just crossing that off the list right now. And again, this is totally fine to be rough draft form. So take that articulation of the problem you solve and how you set yourself apart and who it's for and why it matters. And putting that into one sentence is a really powerful one sentence description of your business. It helps from helping other people understand or have buy-in to what you're doing, but it also allows you to have a reason to get out of bed every morning and to persevere when things get hard. So I gave a couple examples just to kind of get you thinking. Feel free to pause the video if you want, or borrow some of the language. Let this spark your own inspiration. So if you are an outdoor adventure store, you might say, we guide people to their next adventure. That's the problem they solve with the highest quality outdoor gear. There's the how they set themselves apart. In Humboldt is sort of the implied customer, because adventures bring out the best in us. So it's beyond just buying, a kayak. Here's another one. Acme Event Planners is here to make your event run smoothly because you deserve an unforgettable day. So this one doesn't necessarily specifically identify the ideal customer, but it's saying the problem they solve, they help their event run smoothly, and why? Because you deserve. So we could even make this a little more clear. Maybe they specifically help with weddings, because every bride and groom, or we wouldn't want to be inclusive. So anyway, hopefully you know what I'm getting at. One last one. We remodel historic buildings, problem you solve, with craftsmanship and care, how you set yourself apart, because Humboldt's historic spaces, again, sort of identifying who this is for, have an important story to tell. So that kind of ties it to a deeper meaning, and you can go so many different places with that mission statement. So I am so curious what you come up with for your sentence. All right, let's move on to the next section. Committing to consistency. So this can be one of the most important mindsets, and this was kind of repeated in Winston Churchill's quote that I read to you earlier. The most important thing to your success as a business is continuing to show up. So as you are thinking about starting your business and you come to your to-do list, there's a lot of things that need to happen, right? And hopefully you're meeting with your SBDC advisor or connecting with other consultants that are helping you know how to get your ducks in a row. There are some bigger tasks you need to accomplish. There are some ongoing tasks that will never be done. They're just ongoing projects that need to happen. So let's set aside and think through, how can you be consistent? What can you commit to doing from a weekly standpoint, a daily standpoint, and a monthly standpoint? So I have just a huge list of ideas, and this is not exhaustive by any means, but just thinking through, what are the most common types of work that you would be doing as a business owner? So what comes to mind right off the bat, let's talk about the daily stuff of just running this business If you have a product-based or retail store, there's inventory, there's keeping your space looking beautiful, there is engaging with customers, tracking, invoicing, both accounts receivable, accounts payable, all of that kind of stuff. So just like the operational side of things, the marketing side of things, we've got social media, we've got tending to our website, we've got advertising and networking, following up with leads or past customers, responding to Google reviews, all these types of things. So think through, what is it where you are now? You might not have a Google My Business account for any reviews right now. You may not have launched it. That's okay. What daily action could you do that takes 15 minutes or less that would help you get to a place of being able to launch your business 6 months from now? Maybe it's 15 minutes of professional development. Maybe it's 15 minutes of working on your business plan every day. That consistent showing up is going to mean so much more than any capital infusion or expertise or influencer. That consistency will be the most important indicator for your success. There are some bigger things that you want to build into committing to do every week around possible strategy or tracking your finances, following up with leads, building in a way to track your sales funnel, social media, that kind of thing. And then on a monthly basis, maybe you decide to set aside one day a month where you're just honing in on the bigger picture stuff. So you can take a break from the day-to-day stuff, so that you can sort of check in with your goals and track where you are. So again, you don't have all the answers, but you probably have a good idea. Let's just take the next 90 days. Think about if you were able to commit to 3 things every day, 2 things every week, and 1 larger thing a month. Write out what you would do, and then in the margins of your worksheet, write out, where would that take you in 90 days if you did commit to doing that every day? Go ahead and pause the video, and then when you're ready for the next section, we'll move on. Okay, so this is our last C of our workshop together. So finding the people to collaborate with you. Entrepreneurs that try to accomplish everything on their own are not setting themselves up for success. There are different components to your business that you will need help with, that you will want to delegate, and that you'll want to partner with other people in order to make it happen in a way that is sustainable for you and successful for your business. So on our worksheet, we have just some other components, and this is not necessarily an exhaustive list. Each business is going to have different partnerships, vendors, team members to bring to the table that I won't know about or be able to identify for everyone all at once. But thinking through just having all of your ducks in a row. And again, this isn't a how-to, but more of a mindset shift. Recognizing that your business takes a lot of different components in order to get off the ground, to be successful, and then to be able to grow in the long run and get past that 15-year mark, right? So thinking through, who are the people I need to talk to? What are the different components of running my business? What can I take on my own? What things do I want consulting or advising on, but still want to sort of own? And then what are things I want to delegate, but still understand the big picture on? I'm a marketer, so I am very capable of handling my own marketing, but I'm not as strong in my financial side of things. So I've worked with SBDC advisors to set up my books. I've hired a bookkeeper to take care of my payroll. I have obviously a CPA that helps me with with my taxes every year. So maybe that is your strong suit and you need help with the marketing. So take a look at these and then tick the column that makes the most sense. Do you have a good handle on this already? Are you looking for some help or know who to ask when you're ready to reach out for that step? If so, write their name down in the next little line. Or, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. I need insurance. Who do I talk to? Just identifying, okay, that's on my to-do list, and that will be my next daily task, is to reach out and do some Google research to see who might be a good insurance provider. So go ahead and pause and take a look at what you're needing. So legal, I'm meaning, not every business needs this, but just making sure you have all of your tax ID information, you're set up with the IRS, but you also have contracts set up in place if you're a service-based business, that a lawyer has looked at how you're setting up your business and made sure it's set up in the right way. Financial would be making sure you have a way to track revenue and how to be able to pay your bills on time and set that up in a way that's going to help you on the day-to-day, month-to-month, but then also your quarterly and annual taxes. Different businesses have different insurance needs, so just reaching out to an agent and making sure you're covered, whether that's just through errors and omissions, or if you need employee insurance, help, all of that kind of stuff. You want to make sure that that's taken care of. Business strategy, is this something that you already have a good handle on, or do you need to work with someone to really understand what it's going to take to scale and be successful? There's so many different aspects of marketing, both just having the right message, making sure that your brand is really aligned with your values, then going through and making sure that it's easy for people to find you through all the different search platforms, having a web page to direct people to, social media to attract people, email marketing to be able to stay in touch with people. Your sales and e-commerce are kind of related to your marketing, but just, you don't have to be an expert in how to set up an e-commerce platform online. You can work with someone to help make that happen, but it is something you want to make sure that you either are handling on your own or collaborating with someone to be able to set that up in a way that's going to help you succeed. If and when you're ready to add other people to your team, just making sure that you've got the right people in place to help you hire and have good human resources that are compliant, and make sure that your team is happy and successful. And just whatever this means to your business, the operations side of things. So again, if this is starting to make you panic, take a deep breath. Know that you don't have to have all the answers right now. You do not have to be an expert in all of these things. You need to have a bigger picture understanding of how your business will operate and what different components it needs in order to be successful, and then finding the right people at the right time to be able to help you. This is a really good place to point out that SBDC offers a lot of these services through one-on-one advising and workshops and classes, so that you can really empower yourself to understand what is needed and be able to know what next steps to take. So if you don't know any people to help you with any of these, just write SBDC and know that we got you covered. All right, so the last page is just kind of a checklist for you to think through where you're at in your business mindset. So we talked about those 5 C's, right? We talked about just how to make sure you have a good context, an understanding of where you're at, making sure that you're coming with a mindset of curiosity rather than perfectionism or just trying to run on passion alone, being able to have some clarity around your business ideas and what it is you're trying to accomplish. And then making sure that you have a mindset of showing up consistently and bringing in other people to collaborate towards your success. So those are some sort of mindsets, but then I want this kind of a bonus round of other components to just, again, a mindset. So not the hard skills or the nuts and bolts of running a business, but how you're approaching it. So based off of research and what people have discovered of what do these successful entrepreneurs have in common? I would love for you to just take a look at and see kind of where you're at with this. Would you rank yourself as like, yes, I totally have this in spades. This comes naturally to me. Sort of middle ground, like I'm working on it. This isn't necessarily a super strong point, but I've really grown and I know I can lean into this mindset. Or, gosh, you know what? That is not my strong suit. I know I need to develop that. And that doesn't mean that's oh, I can't be a business owner. It's what resources can I access? What practices can I start? What habits will help me have this mindset as I go forward in launching my business? So the worksheet itself has kind of some descriptions as well, but let's kind of go through these one by one. I put this first because I think it's just so important, both as a boss, as a business owner, as someone who is going to launch your own business. You have to be self-aware, understanding who you are, your strengths and weaknesses, where you can get triggered, what's life-giving for you, what's draining to you, understanding and knowing that, knowing your tendencies. I tend to work until I'm exhausted. Okay, if I know that, how can I put measures in place so that I can stay successful and happy in the long run? The next one is tenacity. It takes confidence and determination in order to make your business succeed. Being able to um, have the ability to pick yourself back up when you've struggled or when you've had a failure. Do you have that grit to be able to push past the obstacles that will help your business succeed, even when it feels exhausting or hard or discouraging? The next one is money management. And this is also really high on the list because a lot of us, that's kind of a generalization. I don't know if that's true, but being able to understand that a business must be profitable. You have to be able to consider what expenses are really worth investing in and which ones are going to make it hard for your business to be sustainable over the long run. So having that understanding of your current financial situation, being able to stick to a budget, understanding just the basics of accounting, even if you hire someone else to do your bookkeeping or help you run the money side of things. As a business owner, you do not want to abdicate that to someone else. You want to be in on that process and be able to manage your money well, so that you don't run out of fund capital, so that you're not spending more than you're making on a month-to-month basis. The next one is visionary. This is kind of a little bit out of order from our worksheet, but that's okay. So again, that number one area of sort of having a good understanding of your context. As a business owner, you have to be able to both be in on the day-to-day, but also see the big picture. Know what it is you're trying to accomplish so that can fuel your efforts and help you get through the mundane days, the hard days, the disappointing moments, the failures. Being able to have that big picture vision will help you get through that and also be able to convey that, creating a workplace culture that really is aligned with your mission. The next one is discipline. So we've got that kind of big picture idea. Vision casting is really important, but connected to that is being able to follow through on things consistently, day in and day out. This is a mindset to be able to succeed as a business owner, is being able to have just that hard work ethic. This does not mean that you need to be sacrificing your personal health or sleep in order to make that happen, but just really saying, okay, these are my goals. This is what I can commit to, and now I'm going to follow through on that. And again, doing that over time will really add up and create a cumulative effect. Let's go on to our next one. So another mindset that I think is essential in being a business owner is to understand how relational contexts matter. So this matters in a lot of different ways. We've touched on the importance of being very customer centered. So really understanding your customers' needs, being able to meet them where they're at and solve their problems is a very relational task. Even if you're selling a product, you're not working necessarily directly with other humans through what you're doing. Understanding the relational impacts of your work is really important. You're also going to be working with other people if you have employees or if you have other vendors or partners that you collaborate with. Being able to have just a level of emotional intelligence and being able to be relational in ways that help you accomplish your goals together is going to help you succeed in the long run. The next one is, let me see what's on my list here, creativity. So this is something that I think is very vital, but I think we can often have a really narrow view of what creativity means in our culture. So to me, creativity is just seeing opportunities and then finding innovative ways to bring solutions to the marketplace. So creativity can be in how you set up your day, how you set up your business practices, how you communicate your ideas, but then also when challenges arise, when things happen that you weren't expecting, can you find creative solutions without getting stuck? The next one is having a growth mindset, and that really goes hand in hand with creativity. There's a lot of research. If this is a new phrase for you, I encourage you just Google the word growth mindset and go down that rabbit hole for a while. But researchers have identified that those who are more likely to succeed have a mindset that it's okay to grow and not be perfect. A fixed mindset kind of says, this is just the way it is. I'm stuck where I am and I have to live with it. A growth mindset says, this is where I am today. And I have agency. I have the ability to move forward and to try new things. And even if and when I fail, that's just going to be more data to be able to help me improve. Having that mindset is going to make all the difference in being able to move forward rather than feeling stuck in your where you are today. And then finally, again, this also sort of relates to the growth mindset and creativity, but it's just important enough to note on its own, is being able to adapt. In 2022, as a business owner, we have to be able to shift our approach and to stay flexible in our ideas and our strategies, because we all know that can change in a moment. So the businesses that have risen and grown over the course of the last 2 years and over the course of the last thousands of years are those who can shift with the times, understand when the customer's needs change, and then meet those change by being adaptable. That can show up in big meta ways, but also in little small everyday ways as well. So check in with yourself. This isn't a grade. This isn't a static thing. This is a place to know where you're at and gut check today. And then each of these, again, are mindsets. They're not personality traits. They're skill sets and thoughts that we can practice and improve on over time. So with that mindset, we can offer a lot of guidance and coaching as SBDC. A lot of us who are advisors are also business owners as well. So we've been through these processes before. We've had to cultivate these mindsets over the course of our own careers, and we're happy to kind of shed light on what's worked for us along the way. There's also tons of workshops and webinars and resources I just wanted to draw your attention to before we sign off for today through SBDC, northcoastsbdc.org. You will see options in order to engage and grow your own business readiness mindset. If you are not already connected to a business advisor, this is something that you can do just by clicking on this sign up button right here. You'll go through kind of a application process and then get paired with one of our advisors based on your needs. Then if you come over here to the trainings, this will just show you what's coming up for classes in all different aspects. This class we took today is much more kind of meta, a little more kind of first base. A lot of our classes through SBDC are a lot more just really practical when it comes to buying or selling or finances or marketing. So really some practical skills and professional development that you can access both virtually and in person. So thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate just the willingness to come to starting your business with a mindset of wanting to learn. I think that's one of the most important things. So best of luck. Please reach out to your SBDC office if you have any questions or want to kind of dive into this further. But thank you so much for joining me today, and best of luck in launching your business.